So what does it mean to be a Hebrew Israelite? Being a Hebrew Israelite simply means that you are from the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In the book of Genesis chapter 14:13, Abraham, who was still called Abram at that time, was called the Hebrew. So this tells us that Abraham was a Hebrew. The Most High later chose Abraham to be the forefather of the nation of Israel. Through Abraham's seed would come Christ, the Savior of the nation of Israel. Abraham begat Isaac, the chosen seed, and Isaac begat Esau and Jacob. Now, as we all know, Isaac was not Abraham's firstborn, it was Ishmael. But according to the Most High, Ishmael was not the chosen seed. Ishmael was produced outside of the will of God. It was Sarah who convinced Abraham to go into her handmaid, Hagar, so that she would have children by her. Sarah was operating according to the flesh. She was impatient. She looked at her condition of being well up in age, past her childbearing years, so she manipulated her husband to do something that was outside of the Most High's will. Now, of course, Abraham knew better. He knew what God had promised, that he would be a father of many nations, that his seed would be like the sand of the sea. But in order to please his wife, he went into Hagar, her Egyptian handmaid, to bear seed by her. And from this union came Ishmael. But he was not the child that God had promised to Abraham. Isaac was. Now, even though Ishmael was not the child of promise, the Most High still blessed him and his seed. From Ishmael will come the Ishmaelites, a great people in the earth. Today in our times, the children of Ishmael are the Arabs. Eventually, Sarah conceived and brought forth the promised seed, Isaac, and from Isaac will come Esau and Jacob. Now we must remember that the Most High chose Abraham the Hebrew to be the forefather of the nation of Israel, and it is through this bloodline that Christ the Son of God would come. Galatians 3:16 tells us, "Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He said not unto seeds, as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Christ." There were promises made by God to Abraham and his seed, not seeds. So we're talking about a particular seed, and that seed is Christ. So Christ is the seed of Abraham according to the flesh. He is the Son of God according to the Spirit. So like I forementioned, when the Most High chose Abraham, the Most High was thinking about his only begotten Son eventually coming into this earth to save his people from their sins. So now we are getting a better understanding as to why Ishmael was not chosen as the child of promise. Ishmael's conception was carnal. It had nothing to do with God's will. The Most High wanted the child of promise to come from Sarah's womb, not Hagar the Egyptian. Abraham fathered Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Padam Aram, the sister of Laban, the Aramean, to be his wife. Then Isaac fathered Esau and Jacob. Let's keep in mind that through this bloodline must come Christ, the Savior of Israel. So this bloodline must remain pure. So what happened to Esau? Esau would eventually move away from serving the God of his forefathers. He also disobeyed his parents' wishes by mixing his seed with women who he was specifically told not to marry. Isaac and Rebekah told their sons, Esau and Jacob, not to marry the daughters of Canaan, because at that time there were Canaanites who had Nephilim blood. Jacob honored the words of his parents, but Esau didn't. Esau was the rebellious son. He knew the law that was passed down from his grandfather Abraham. But Esau chose his own path, and because of Esau's disobedience, because Esau transgressed against the law passed down to him, the Most High said in his word, Esau have I hated. Let's read it. Romans 9:13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So why did God love Jacob? Because he was obedient. Jacob was a righteous man. Now why did the Most High say, Esau have I hated? Because Esau walked in disobedience. Esau knew better. He knew the right things to do, but he chose his own ways. He chose his own destiny. So the Most High said, Esau have I hated. Anyone who disobeys the Most High's commands, his law automatically falls under hate. The Most High is not a respecter of persons. So now, after losing his birthright and the blessing as the firstborn, Esau, now full of hatred and envy towards his brother Jacob, became rebellious. Esau went into the land of Canaan in Mount Seir and mixed his seed with the Horites and other nations, which he knew was against the wishes of his forefathers. So Esau messed up his bloodline and created his own nation, the children of Edom. Esau's name was changed to Edom after he ate the red pottage. So what's the significance of the red pottage? Under the law, it was prohibited to eat uncooked meat because the soul of the animal is in the blood. Esau knew this, but he did it anyways. Edom means red. The Edomites would become the greatest enemy of Jacob's children, the 12 tribes of Israel, because Esau developed an eternal hatred for his baby brother Jacob after losing his birthright and the blessing to him. But it was the Most High's will for Jacob to receive the blessing and the birthright instead of Esau the firstborn. The Most High revealed this information to Rebekah, hence the reason why she loved Jacob so much. She knew the prophecies concerning him. Isaac was not aware of the prophecies of Jacob receiving the birthright and the blessing instead of Esau, but Rebekah knew that this was God's will. Now, some people would say, well, why did God hide this information from Isaac? Was this the right thing to do? We must understand that the Most High sees everything and he knows everything. God knew that if Isaac was told this information, that because of the love he had for Esau, he would have messed up God's plans for Jacob. We must remember that from Jacob will come the 12 tribes of Israel, God's chosen seed. Israel is the apple of his eye. So the Most High did what was needed to bring forth prophecy, his will in the earth. The Most High's will must be established above our will. So the next promised seed after Isaac was Jacob, the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. And from the tribe of Judah, the kingship tribe, would come Jesus the Christ, the Savior, the anointed Mashiach, that seed which was prophesied to come in Galatians 3:16. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He said not unto seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed which is Christ. So from the beginning, God had a master plan to choose a nation, a particular bloodline, a particular race of people for his name. Hence the reason he chose Abraham, a righteous man, to eventually bring forth the ultimate promised seed, and that seed is Christ, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Savior of Israel, who would bring hope to the entire world through the gift of salvation. Thank you for listening. Please hit the like button and do subscribe to the channel. Be blessed always.